I love this time of year. Because, like, sometimes the biggest news we get is Joe Burrow's practicing.
That's true. He is, though.
He's practicing.
Watch out, NFL.
I'm very
Practice.
curious about him this year.
Why is that?
To stay healthy, and if not, it kind of changes the narrative, I think, about his injuries. Not that he's soft, but, like, injury prone. Is that fair?
He's not injured that much.
No, it's more like it's like he would be veering into like Mike Trout territory.
Okay.
Where it's like or Kawhi Leonard, where it's like, yeah, when he's healthy,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. It's just he missed most of his rookie year, and then he missed most of last year too.
Yeah, it's a small sample size for sure. He's been in the NFL 4 years.
Yeah.
At this point.
21, 22, 23, 24.
And he's missed basically 2 full seasons, or pretty close to it at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. 2 different injuries?
They are. Yeah. It's not like Mike Trout, who his hamstrings seem to just
Well,
be like
this last one's a knee.
Oh, is it a knee too?
Yeah,
This last
he also
one?
broke a hand. Mike Trout's.
Yeah, I thought it was
Run
a
the
wrist.
gambit.
It was a wrist, and it was in that wrist in November.
Okay, so
That's the one where he threw a pass and like on Thursday Night
right.
Football and just was like, I'm out.
That's right.
Yeah.
It'd be 2 major injuries last year. I also it's like selfish. I like seeing good players play football. And I'd like to see Joe Burrow out there more.
He also got his appendix removed before a season. Now it's coming back. He had a couple where I remember.
You can't hold that against him, Sean.
No, it was just when he was struggling early in the season, and it was kind of because of the wrist. But a lot of the excuse is like grandfathered into like the top class of the NFL quarterbacks, and he is when he's out there. But there's just always the when he's out there thing.
OBJ signed with the Dolphins. Do anything for you?
I'm surprised he hasn't signed with the Dolphins earlier.
Yeah.
I wonder if he plays at all.
Huh.
I mean, that's a pretty loaded receiver core. Is he the third, I guess?
Yeah.
It definitely number 1, Tyreek Hill. Number 2, Jalen Waddle. He's at that phase of his career. And good for him getting what he got paid last year. Do you even remember seeing him on the field in the playoff game against the Texans?
No.
I don't at all. I remember him the first game of the year because I think he got into the weird scuffle with Derek Stingley, and I think he had 3 catches in that game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he is not Odell Beckham Jr. anymore. I'm wondering how much this contract was for because he got, I think, like $17 million last year.
I think I saw it was $3 million
Yeah.
with incentives to get to like 9.
Damn. Yeah, he's not the same guy anymore. I mean, they didn't need him at all in the playoffs.
No, he's like a body at receiver. You know, it's like he's in the like Noah Brown kind of Robert Woods.
Yeah. Because like
role.
in theory, they really could have used him after they beat the Texans. Like they didn't need him to beat the Texans, but in their next playoff game, the Ravens sure as hell needed him. He's nowhere to be found. He's not. It's a bizarre career because like the peak of Odell was so high. But even then, it was really more about spectacular catches than it was about being an elite wide receiver.
And he was in New York, and he's dating or hanging out with celebrities. He is, of all the receivers that we've seen in the NFL recently, the one that, partly because of what you said, the highlights, but really leapt his way into actually being a more than just football celebrity, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, he has like a ton. I don't know what the actual number is, but like Instagram followers, he might be the number 1 in among NFL players with Instagram followers.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Which that just speaks to like he is so famous.
Yeah. Which is also interesting too because he had a couple of years where he was really good, but probably not a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, his first 3 years in the league
were awesome.
It was 1,300, 1,450, 1,300. And then he missed most. One was in 2019. So he hasn't done anything in 4 years.
I'm curious. His fame makes you like. I feel like an idiot
I just
for
didn't
saying
realize
for
he
a
was
second.
that famous.
I feel weird in the middle of saying he's probably not a Hall of Famer. Like, why am I saying that? Because he's definitely not a Hall of Famer. But it's because of that fame that he has. You sort of think to yourself, well, I mean, the NFL lets a lot of guys into the Hall of Fame, so maybe he gets in. But he's nowhere close on any of the
5,000 yard receiving years. Man.
Yeah, it kind of. See, I think it's Terrell Davis kind of like trickle down for the NFL now. Is Terrell Davis was like statistically, he's probably not a Hall of Famer, but his peaks were so good that they rewarded him for it. So it kind of clouds your judgment of like what these guys are.
Oh.
By the way, Odell Beckham has 17.6 million Instagram followers. Patrick Mahomes has under 7.
Wow,
So
that's
he's
nuts.
about 10 million more followers than the best player of all time.
Doing a little math here, he has, over the last 4 seasons, about 1,300 receiving yards.
Yeah, which is what he had his rookie year.
Yeah.
That's tough. Looks like the schedule's going to come out this week or next week. We'll have a little. We'll talk about a little bit for the Texans in the 2:00 hour. I can't believe like you guys have talked about the NFL draft, how they've turned that into a spectacle. I can't believe that they've accomplished this with a schedule release. Like every single team goes so far above and beyond to release these cool videos because they are cool. The videos are the best part, but then the fact that like NFL Network and ESPN will block off like hours of programming as the schedule comes out is crazy.
And they do the trickle out where they announce like one game at a time, or they'll announce like, well, here's the Thanksgiving here. These two teams are gonna play on Christmas, and then that's like the Tuesday before the Thursday announcement. It's crazy.
I used to when I was at the flagship, I would be doing the show that got to announce the schedule.
Oh.
And they always used to tell me what a privilege it was that I was getting this big opportunity. And
you already know the opponents.
Legitimately one of the most annoying days of the year in my career, because I did it every single year. 7:00 was when the release happened. Mm-hmm. They would give me a printout of it so I would know about it, like literally read off of a piece of effing paper that is just the order that you know now. You already knew what was going to be on it, but get this, now you know the order. And they expect you to like break it down game by game, but you already know who they're playing.
Yeah, you just don't know the order in which they're going to play.
You have the privilege of saying October 13th, Thursday night football against the Tennessee Titans. Like that's a privilege, Paul.
Seriously, they did that. And I mean, the thing that you will see after the schedule is released is people will say, oh, this stretch could make or break the season. And, oh, this is a really good time for a bye week.
Yeah.
Those two things.
They play 4 straight playoff teams from last year, but luckily they have a bye week right in the middle. It's like, cool. Thanks.
Well, it's like that's what, and every coach is like. They asked D'Amico today at this charity thing, like, "What do you look for?" He's, "When's the bye week?"
That's like the only thing.
That's all they care about.
Yeah, I mean, even as like a fan, if I see that the Texans have like a week 5 or a week 12 bye week, I'm like, damn, that sucks. You want it to be week 9, 8,
right
9,
in the
10.
Yes.
Those are the 3 weeks you want.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, it's
I'd like it to be in the middle. I would like to try to get to Oktoberfest at some point in my life, so I would like them to have it in the middle, just in October
or Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, Halloween.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, they go like week 13 now. Is that how far they?
Yeah,
go?
they're late.
It's too far.
It's ridiculous.
You
have a bye week in December.
Like, how do we have buys in December and then in like the first week of October? They do buys in week 4. It's
nuts.
Too much.
You honestly could convince me that you could just do half the league on week 8 and half the league on week 9, and it would just that's good enough. I don't know why we need to like have because they do still have weeks where 6 teams are on bye and there's no good games. Like that still happens. So I don't know why they have to create such inequity between this.
Yeah.
And look at us.
Hey,
talking about the schedule.
Yeah, but we're complaining about the schedule.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. That if the Astros lose 2 out of 3 against the
Maybe,
Yankees,
you know what?
We might do a schedule release show.
We might have to. Duke Johnson announced his retirement.
Who?
Texans legend.
Texans legend Duke Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Third down back.
That's nice.
Extraordinaire.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hopefully you had him in a PPR league.
One of those confusing like D Johnson running backs that you see in the draft.
Uh-huh.
You're not 100% sure if you're picking the other
David
Johnson, David Johnson, right?
Fellow Texan legend.
Yeah, fellow Texan legend David Johnson. I forget. One of my friends was in a fantasy football draft, and he drafted when the Kansas City Chiefs had 2 running backs by the same name,
Oh no.
and he drafted the wrong one in like the second round.
Well, there's always the Adrian Peterson from
Yes.
Oklahoma.
And then the one that played for the Bears.
yeah, and the
Yep.
Bears one,
Yeah.
who's also just Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. That's tough. I just that's the only thing I care about the schedule release now is fantasy football. Cause I'm in these dynasty leagues where like your roster's already set, so you might get screwed if there's all your guys are on the bye week at the same time. That's all I really care about. I don't really care about the actual schedule.
Yeah, that in the bye for fantasy, I've stopped caring about the bye week because I know that I'm gonna do it on accident anyway. Where it's just
Good
like,
point.
oops, 4 guys have a week 7 bye week. So now I'm almost like, is it smart just to take an L on 1 week instead of hampering your team
Yes,
for 3
that's-
straight?
That's
Yep.
probably true.
Yeah.
Like, just take an L.
Just consider it a bye week.
Yeah.
By the way, I had to look this up because I remember this is a weird bye week fun fact. The 2001 Patriots, the team that won the Super Bowl for the first time, guess when their bye week was originally scheduled?
6?
Week 17
What?
of 17. Yes.
Why?
And because of 9/11, it got moved to week 16.
Oh.
Yeah. So their bye week.
Wait.
Imagine your bye week being the last week of the season.
Wait, so they
Yes. Their bye week was supposed to be week 17. I thought I remembered that correctly. And then because of 9/11, it got swapped up a little bit.
But wait, so before 9/11, their plan was for week 17.
yes, it
That's
was.
crazy.
Before it happened and they postponed everything.
That's why.
I don't know if they were doing that on the
Oh,
regular.
Was that because there's only 31 teams?
There were only 31 teams at the
Could
time.
that be
yes.
why?
That was before the Texans came in. This was the
Interesting.
Browns were the expansion team from 2 years before.
Yeah.
What a bizarre
that,
world.
what a nut. Is
Week
that why they won?
17 bye.
Is that why they won?
Put
Put an asterisk.
maybe.
'Cause they basically had a bye week before the playoffs.
I remember Belichick like bitched about it just randomly 8 years ago. It was just like the NFL was out to get us that year.
They won the Super Bowl.
I know.
9/11 happened.
All right, when we get back, Kentucky Derby was this weekend. It was fun. But what's on your sports bucket list? What sporting events, things you want to see, are on your bucket list? We'll talk about that next year on Gallant George on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
This is Gallant and George.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now back to Paul and Joe inside the Veritex Community Bank Studios.
All right, the Kentucky Derby was this weekend. One of two very close races this weekend. Apparently, there was a NASCAR race that was won by like a centimeter. I saw that. But then the Kentucky Derby, how much of it do you watch? Like the lead up?
Literally none of it until the actual race.
Same.
I was out at a couple of bars, Woodland Social, and then I went to Shady Acre Saloon on 20th, and we were outside, and when it was like, I don't know, 5:52, we went inside to watch it on the television.
Yeah, I missed the first half of it.
Of the actual race?
Yeah.
Why'd you miss it?
I got to it late. But thankfully, we had the rewind feature. So all of a sudden, like the race was halfway done, so I rewinded it real quick, caught up. It was a very good race. It's fun. It's not for me. I'll be honest. Like,
Not for you.
I enjoy horse racing. It's like, but like it's not a spectacle for me. It's not something that I have to watch. I definitely don't understand the people who watch but I feel the same way about the Super Bowl.
Watch the what?
The whole lead up to it, like the hours of coverage. But I don't watch NFL pregame shows on a normal Sunday. So
Yeah, I don't either.
It's just it's not. That is not for me.
What, the fashion show?
Yeah.
I mean, the man who only wears free T-shirts. Yeah.
I paid for this one.
You did pay for this one?
Yeah, I paid for this one. I probably not.
It says Landry's on the side of it. I don't know.
Oh, no, definitely not. Then that's definitely
You
got
definitely did not.
Definitely got to add a Rockets.
That's
game.
100% something that they gave you.
I have some Rockets shirts that I own.
You should show up to before the Derby. Like, be the one guy who's like dressed like
I don't
he's going to Walmart.
I don't want to pay like $22 for a drink. Like that's what they said the mint julep cost there.
Okay.
That's a lot of money for a drink.
Well, yeah.
But at the same time,
You're at the Kentucky Derby.
going to the Kentucky Derby is on my bucket list.
I would want to go to the infield, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You guys, I want to do like all in.
Is that where all the absolute savages are, where it turns into the Waste Management Open? Yeah, that's what I want. Mint juleps aren't good, but I'm not really some of the stuff that whiskey cocktails are, like, unless it's Pendleton, just not the biggest fan of. But mint julep, yeah, I've never really understood why, one, it's a big deal, and two, why around the Kentucky Derby everyone loves that as much. I guess because there's bourbon in Kentucky or something.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it's on my list of things to go to.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's on your list. Seems
It's
like, I mean, if you're going, you got to
it's
dress
a-
to the nines, bro.
No, that's why like going to it once I would do. And if you do the infield, like you have to do it all out. I would not want to go to the Kentucky Derby to sit anywhere besides either in the infield or near the finish line. Like to me, anything outside of those two locations are not close. Like it's not worth going to. It's just not. Like I don't want to be on the opposite side of the track when I see the horses finish. That to me seems like a waste of money. Like it's not like that seems like a waste.
But for the most part, I think all the seats are right by the finish line.
Yeah, they're close, but like you're not right there. Like I want to be able to like have a take on which horse finished
You're
first.
such a dork. Oh my god. Do you
Like
want
I
to
just
have
want
a
to be
take?
like I think this horse finished first. I want to be close enough to see it.
It would only matter in a year like this year.
I
There was a
know.
photo finish for 3 different
I know.
horses.
It's also a lot of money for 2 minutes.
Yeah, because it's not about the event.
I know, it's about the experience.
It's about
I know.
dressing up and getting hammered. Like,
That's true.
you're like, yeah, I really want to go to this, but I want to focus on the horse.
It's like it's a one-time thing.
Well, if it's a one-time thing, like
that's why it's bucket list.
this
Like I want to go to it.
you don't sound like you really want to go to it.
Is the Masters on that for you? Even
No.
though you're not a big golf guy.
No, not really. I feel like it would be a fun time, and if someone invited me, I'd absolutely say yes. But like, I'm not dying to go to Augusta, Georgia. I'm just not.
I don't want to give up my phone for 3 days. I know that's really lame, but
It's only while you're there for 3 days.
I know. But you're there for a long time. I mean, if you're going to go to the Masters, you want to be there when it starts and be there most of the day. I don't unless you're following one golfer, I guess.
Yeah, well, there's different ways to do it. You can either post up at one hole, if you're really into Amen Corner, you can just watch Amen Corner.
True.
Magnolia. All their holes named after flowers. If you want to post up by one of those, I would feel bad though because I think it would be something where it'd be cool, but the entire time I'd be like, "There's no reason that I'm here," and there's like a ton of golf fans that would like give up their children to be here, and I'm just like, "Yeah, this is pretty sick." Huh?
I'd rather go to the Ryder Cup. I think watching like Europe versus USA would be a way cooler experience than going to the Masters.
Yeah,
like, here
the team element of it. Yeah,
it's like it's a fun vibe. It's not the pretentious golf.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what I really just for golf and for tennis, just the lace curtain stuff with all these toonies and cake eaters and stuff. I don't know. That's also part of the horse racing thing, but at least there is a little bit of added charm on top of the Kentucky Derby because everyone is there to party. Waste Management Open is the golf event that I want to go to.
Yes.
Because it just seems like absolute Sodom and Gomorrah out there.
I wonder what they'll do.
This year seemed
Absolutely on another level.
Yeah, this one where it tipped into the like. Actually, I don't think I want to go.
Yeah.
Actually, I do. Seeing what time these guys are on.
I kind of worry that they'll go too far to correct it though. Like maybe we might have missed our opportunity.
The golden window.
Yeah, like it might be a lame event now going forward. It might not be what you want it to be. I hope you're wrong.
They're gonna be.
I hope I'm
wrong.
wrong. Yeah. I hope you get to go one day, Paul, and enjoy yourself. Is a Super Bowl in there for you?
Already been to one.
As a fan?
Yep, 39.
Okay.
Yeah, Patriots, Eagles. My stepdad was my stepdad still is Eagles fan. My mom likes Paul McCartney. He played at halftime. That was, I think, the main reason that we went. It was really funny going into the word son. Legitimately said that just on the way in.
Funny.
So I went to Super Bowl 39. I have seen my school, Syracuse, play in the Final Four. That was very cool. It was here back in 2016.
Yeah, going to a Final Four versus seeing your team in a Final Four, I would imagine are very different experiences.
Oh, 100%. I feel like if you ever have your school make it, you have to go. You absolutely have to go. It's so cool. I really enjoyed that. As far as other bucket list sporting events, I would want to go to see some sort of international soccer game. I don't know if it would be like Real Madrid against Barcelona.
Do you count if it's here?
No.
Because like I was thinking about the
they don't even bring their good players.
No, but
over
I was thinking about the World Cup.
Like
go
World
to the
Cup could be fun,
But I kind of
but I'd want to see it elsewhere.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
it would be a better experience in a different country than when it's here in Houston. And I'm still looking forward to it here in Houston.
You want it to be like a vacation.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It is a different like. It's basically like traveling. It's like going to a restaurant in another country. It's like a different culture and that you want to be immersed in, and it's tough to do that when it's like still at NRG Stadium. And this is not just like a Houston thing. Like any of those sites in America, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to go to LA just to just watch a soccer game that I know will be half full of American fans. Like you want to, like you said, get the full either Premier League or like the Spanish or I don't know. If you want to get real
Get the full
dangerous, go to an
experience.
Italian one.
real dangerous.
Go to a Mexico one.
No,
You don't want to throw around the P word?
lost me there.
No?
I don't want to be responsible for like laser pointer in someone. Unless someone is like
Your son would be the one who does it.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. He would be like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Actually,
For those who don't know, Joe's son rudely threw a pretzel with cheese at somebody at yesterday's game.
terrorist.
The George family had to leave the premise.
We chose to leave the premise.
They had to leave.
Yeah, they fled the
I
premises.
kicked him out myself.
You didn't kick him out. You fled.
I carried him out.
You ran from the grind.
Yeah, we ran away.
Seemed like you endorsed the bad behavior.
No, we left.
Now, you're gonna be like all those single dog moms. Oh, he never does this.
I just told everyone he did
yeah,
it.
he does do that.
I acknowledged that he did this
he's
action.
he's a little he's a little demon.
It can be. He's a great kid, but he has some demonic moments.
It happens. It
Yeah.
happens. I like that he said no, thank you before he threw
Exactly.
the pretzel with cheese
He
like
was
this-
polite.
at that girl's hair.
It's like the funniest thing you could have said.
Yes, it's no thank you.
No thanks.
And then he throws it. I mean, he got like 80% of the process right.
Bucket list
No,
sporting.
not 80%.
He was polite. He said no thank you, and then he got rid of it. He just aggressively got rid of
That's 66%.
it. Okay, fair.
Also, I think that the throwing it is a bigger L than the politeness. I think is a win.
Just trying to find wins here, just a little bit, little wins. That's all you can do.
That lady with cheese in her hair didn't know it was you that did it.
No. Sports bucket list moment. I want my child to embarrass me at a sporting event.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the funniest story. Joe told me this before the show started. I could not stop laughing.
I couldn't
It's
believe
the funniest thing. It's really funny.
I mean, and you know what? Hey, also positive. He's got a good arm. It was like
How far? Yeah. How many rows?
It was like 3 or 4 rows.
Oh,
Lefty?
wow.
I mean, that was a little piece of pretzel, but look, I'll take it.
Lefty or
Righty. I tried to force him to be a lefty. It didn't work. Every time he would pick up something, I tried to put in his left hand, and it didn't take.
Lefties are abominations. At least that's what the Catholic Church would have you believe.
Yeah, but
I think I used to be left-handed.
But if you're lefty, you get an extra $5,000 off college, depending on where you go, just for being a lefty.
Wait, really?
Yes.
What?
Oh, both colleges I went to had
it's a disability
and lefty scholarships. I'm not even kidding. I don't know if all colleges do it, but I swear there was a point where if you check left-handed, you would get a scholarship.
I don't
Now look,
use my left hand for a lot of things, but there are some things I use it for.
Yeah.
Eating, yeah. I eat with my left hand.
I think I do too. Sometimes.
See, you could have gotten into this scholarship.
Yeah.
Other things too, but we'll focus on the eating one. And yeah, that is a development. I did not know that. I figured it was just because you were disappointed that he could never be a reliever.
Well, that's also
major
part
leagues.
of it. It's I felt like it's easier to get a college scholarship if he's lefty. Advantage.
I don't know if Junior's going to be getting a scholarship for athletics.
Pretty sure he's gonna be taller than me, so
Well,
it's low bar.
that's not saying
Yeah,
much, dude.
that's a low
No
bar.
offense.
All right. There have been few disappointments over this Astros run
Few?
since 2017.
Oh, since 2017, yes, that's true.
But this bullpen might be at the top of the list. What are your biggest disappointments in this run in general next year on Gallant George on ESPN 97.5, 92.5? Astros lost 2 out of 3 this weekend to the Mariners. They're 10 games below 500. They start taking on the New York Yankees tomorrow night. Happy birthday, Jose Altuve.
We got that going for us at
Yep,
least.
it's his birthday.
It's his
Josh
birthday
Hader.
week.
Josh, do you do a birthday week? Birthday month?
No.
Good.
No, you can't after you turn 22.
28.
Sure. Sean, is this still in the midst of your birthday month?
No, it's over.
No, it's over.
It's May.
It's over.
Yeah.
So his birthday month is over.
It's over, bro.
Yeah. Did you do Cinco de Mayo this weekend?
Yeah, I was out yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh. Seems like you had I expected a more hungover Paul today. After Cinco de Mayo.
Honestly, I did too. I did too. I had a lot.
I'm impressed.
I am surprised by how much I had because I said I was going to go out for a little bit. Went out to McIntyre's on 20th, and went there with a friend. She wanted me to go to Nickel City, and I was like, I am too lazy to drive from here to there all the way over. So she got a little mad at me. Whatever.
That's not good.
I don't care.
But obviously Josh Hader came in at the end of the game yesterday. Blew it for the Astros.
Yeah.
Any real hope for them to win. So we talked about how they're just this massive disappointment this season, 7-8-9. Because before the season, think about the way we talked about them. It was like, if the Astros win the World Series, this is why. Was 7-8-9. Was Abreu, Presley, and Hader. There was so much confidence going into the season about them.
Yep.
And now it's just it doesn't matter if it could be Abreu, Presley, Hader, just any given day. It does feel like it's one of them. They have 8 blown saves this year. They are numero uno on the disappointment card, even for me above Alex Bregman.
I mean, you're stuck with Hader, and I say stuck because you're stuck with Hader for 4 seasons after this. This contract is aging worse than Jose Abreu's did. Good point.
Jose Abreu can be bad, and you can still win games. If your closer is this bad, who you're paying $95 million to, it's going to make things much more challenging on a very consistent basis. And they're not going to move away from him. Like I've seen, like, friend of the show, Jeremy Booth, kind of pushing that a little bit of like, he says he doesn't trust Hader anymore. Fair. Put Presley in back in the 9th. They're never going to do that. Like they are never, ever going to do that this season.
I don't know how it would fix things either because Presley's having similar issues. There's not one reliever that you look at right now that you can honestly trust.
Yeah.
Not one of them. What? Rafael Montero? Seth Martinez? Sean Dubin?
Nope.
Taylor Scott? Like these are the more reliable bullpen arms.
No, and even at this point, what we've talked about with, bringing guys back, like Neris is a below 4 ERA with 6 saves on the season for the Cubs now. I don't think he solves your problems because the biggest problem is 7, 8, 9 in your bullpen. They have like a 5.39 ERA. The other guys have done enough. Taylor Scott, Dubin, Martinez, Montero, they've all done enough. Like they have bad moments, but they're middle relief guys. They're gonna have bad moments. Your best guys are not having anywhere near enough good moments. So yeah, they're definitely. If you think back to this Astros like golden era run, this has to be towards the top of the list for most disappointing things to happen.
Yeah, you're paying a team that has a lot of talent to do a variety of different jobs, and the lineup is having issues, but all of these guys have had slumps before. Right? Bregman's had some very long slumps. It's not like we've never seen this with him. But for the bullpen to be this bad and this expensive, Rafael Montero's deal is ridiculous too. Presley's deal is also rather expensive. That they're getting so little out of it and just disaster after disaster after disaster. I'm thinking about things over this stretch run that have been as disappointing as this year's bullpen. It's really hard to think of any. Really, like Mike Fiers was on this roster.
It doesn't.
But
the end result's obviously awful.
When he was on the team, he threw a no-hitter, though. So
yeah.
Carlos Gomez's existence on this roster, he really stunk. You were expecting more out of him. Trading for Roberto Osuna, that was where they lost their innocence, definitely. There are lots of examples of things that have frustrated us over time, but with what you invested in Hader and what you were expecting out of Abreu after last year and what you are still giving to Ryan Presley out of respect, like the opportunity to pitch the 8th, like honestly, with the way Abreu pitched last year, you might have thought going into this season, maybe Presley's your 7th inning guy or something like that. And all of these guys are just unbelievably inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't know if there's the cheating scandal as a whole is a good point. I mean, you never want to see a team that you root for talk about be put in like such a bad.
Because then everyone's just talking about it, and you're like, well, the World Series was legit, but
then they won another World Series, so it kind of takes away some of that stuff.
Sure. Yeah, now you're like, can they do it?
But like
again?
it's like an all-time cheating scandal. The fact that you could even consider this 7, 8, 9 on that level is shows you how bad it is.
Yeah,
because it should be number 2 on the list. Trading away Josh Hader the first time you could include because of just everything that it brought in. It brought in Carlos Gomez, who wasn't good here. It brought in Mike Fiers, which eventually led to the cheating scandal being exposed. So that probably goes to the top of the list.
Everything involving Josh Hader.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, just Josh Hader. Number 2 on the list. Everything about it, from beginning to end. It seems bad.
It's not. Ends a couple of years away.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
by a couple, I mean 5.
it's just reality is that this is going to have more peaks and valleys with Hader than other closers.
What's the peak when he pitches 1 out?
He'll have stretches over the next 3 years or whatever where he'll be the best closer in baseball, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he's still that good. I just don't think you're going to have it on a consistent basis, which is the problem with the contract.
He has to have like multiple games where he looks like he's supposed to. And I get it, like, oh, he's not in a save situation, but no, I don't feel confident saying that at all. I don't think he's ever going to be back. If this is what he is already, like, come on, man.
I'm hoping that
he's finally paid.
I'm hoping that it's the new team jitters a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's giving everybody else jitters.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not even jitters. It's sense of defeat when he comes to a game, and that's the exact opposite feeling of what your closer is supposed to bring you. Anything else in this category for the Astros? I think about the Brandon Taubman stuff was just such a disaster, but I kind of put those in separate categories because that's more of a front office issue versus on the field.
That to me
is separated.
To me, that's just Roberto Osuna.
Yeah,
the whole thing is just Roberto Osuna on that front. But that was an embarrassing look for sure.
Well, I mean, when your players are visibly unhappy and are willing to be outspoken about this the second you make the deal, it was kind of a slap in the face. It should have been to the organization, to Luno and those guys who made the deal. Like, hey, like we don't want this. Like McCullers, Verlander, they all made it pretty clear that they were not thrilled about that trade when it happened. So Roberto Osuna's up there. Just the fact that it happened.
Yeah, and he wasn't even good.
No, he wasn't good.
You're bringing him in. Everyone was hyping him up like this is Mariano Rivera 2.0 or Billy Wagner.
Which is crazy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Contract wise, I wouldn't say almost like the end of the back end reporting of Harper, of just like how close they were to getting Bryce Harper, like leaves me disappointed that they had a deal in place. It doesn't fit into this category or it doesn't get as close to as disappointing. But the fact that they had agreed to trade for Bryce Harper and everyone involved signed off of it until it got to the Nationals ownership group is such a bummer. Just to think about what Bryce Harper would have been even for 3 months.
What were the details of that? What were they giving up?
No one good.
Okay.
It was very there was not
another robbery like
there
with
was not
Cole
yeah, if you go back
Verlander.
to like the Chandler Rome reporting, there's not I think there's one player who has had like major league a hint of major league success. Wow. And besides that, it's all below average guys, and most of the guys hadn't even made to the bigs. But
how long ago was that? 18? 19?
Was it the 19th season? Is when they were working on the deal because it was right before he hit free agency and signed with the Phillies. So that's when there was it would have been the 19th season when they played the Nationals. Maybe it was 18.
19, they played the Nationals in the World Series.
So it was 18.
Yeah, it would have been 18.
'cause he was
Because
not on
19 was the first year with the Nationals won the World Series
Ewing
the first
theory.
year without him.
Yeah, without him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So the
tough.
Astros would have lost the World Series? I don't know. No, the Astros would have won the World Series the year
Yes.
after they got rid of him.
Yeah,
Because that's what teams do.
it's true.
You lose Bryce Harper, throw in Juan Soto, and then you win a World Series.
And you win a World Series, and you're good to go. All right, what makes your list in a similar vein to what we're talking about here with the Astros? We can go Houston sports in general, Rockets, Texans specific. We'll do that next. Most disappointing things that remind you of what was supposed to be a shutdown 7-8-9 for the Houston Astros next year on Gallant George on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
You're listening to Gallant and George on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Paul Gallant and Joe George.
Gallant George here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. So for the Rockets and Texans, is there anything that makes you feel as disappointed as the 7th, 8th, and 9th guys supposed to be so elite and just not being that? I do think
Ed Reed.
Yep.
Ed Reed was supposed to be the finishing piece for a team that needed that veteran savvy to get over the proverbial hump of the New England Patriots. And Reed, with the success that he had had in Baltimore, specifically against that team, but also just being who he was, everyone thought that bringing him in meant that this team was going to take a step further. The Texans cut him in the middle of the year, but That, to me, would be for the Texans along the same lines.
Yeah, Ed Reed's got to be.
Contender, and you sign this guy, and he just stinks. I mean, because, yeah, you have that with Hader right now. Hader has stunk. He has stunk, and there's no rational reason as to why he's stinking. At least with Ed Reed, maybe the Texans didn't do their due diligence with the hip surgery that he'd had that offseason.
I guess Reed is more of a letdown than Brock Osweiler because the expectations were higher.
Yeah, because with Osweiler, I remember him playing quarterback against the Patriots in a Sunday night football game, and I was like, this guy's not good, but the Broncos won that game because they had a bunch of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, he wasn't definitively better than washed-up Peyton Manning, so no one had super high hopes for him, but it's also just like the quarterback position being an absolute tire fire as opposed to a free safety. But those two are, I would say, of the same ilk as Josh Hader, where like when Osweiler would go out there and when other teams would throw the ball and you see Ed Reed in coverage but chasing down a wide receiver, it gave you the same feeling of like dread as you get when Cal Raleigh hits that home run against Josh Hader on Sunday.
The end result of this one is definitely better because CJ Stroud's your quarterback. But Deshaun Watson has to be number one. I mean, this guy beat Alabama in the national championship game. He was your first-round quarterback selection since Carr. He had shown major flashes since his rookie year of looking like he could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I know not everyone was bought into it. I'm one of those people that believed he was going to be a top guy. And I think a lot of the times when we talk about his last year, where his statistics were so good, but the win total wasn't there, is a little bit revisionist history. But for me, it's Deshaun Watson. Human being and scumbag is such a bummer. Because all he ever showed off the field was the opposite. Like the story about like having work done and Habitat for Humanity build his house and all these different things of what Deshaun led to Deshaun being Deshaun. It all seems fraudulent now. Like it just like feels like we were sold nonsense. Dabo Sweeney, the Michael Jordan crap. Like I think we were at 6'10" together when he said that. Like it's crazy.
Work Done once refused to give me an autograph.
Really?
Yeah. 12-year-old me at Tampa Bay Bucks training camp. Have I let that go? No. That was interesting that was a story with Work Done and him getting the house for Deshaun Watson. Does that make Deshaun Watson more noble at the time? We're like, oh wow, what a cool story. Or that was a part of it. It was like, yeah, like he's made the most of what he's been given.
Yeah, it was like this is charity from NFL players working, and it's like feeding back into the NFL. It was like an NFL propaganda thing. It was like, look at this, the man of the year, then basically gives this future franchise quarterback a home, and it's like actually that future franchise quarterback would grow up to be a pervert.
I mean, yeah, now he's going to Saudi Arabia and for their tourism bureau. He's doing videos online while wearing
I don't know what the name of the headscarf thing.
Yeah, the thing.
The hijab.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Better than going to China. I enjoyed your video.
Oh, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's in China. Communist China, folks.
I was bummed I missed it in person, but I was very glad to see the video on social media.
Did you see that he was throwing out? Maybe we'll get to it in case you missed it. Him throwing out the first pitch with Michael Parsons at the Tokyo game.
Micah Parsons, future Texan.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
dude, they're together all the time.
CJ Stroud, future Cowboy.
Micah Parsons. Okay, banned. Banned.
CJ Stroud, future Chinese citizen.
Hey, remember when those conversations were really happening, though, and people were suggesting trading CJ Stroud or the number 2 pick for Dak Prescott last year?
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Glad they didn't do that one.
I don't know now, though. Now that he's in China, CJ Stroud, more like CJ Mao Zedong. Got him.
The 17-18 Rockets being up 3-2 in Golden State from the 8-3-2. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Or just like when the camera cut to Chris Paul like limping off the floor, you're just like,
Yeah, I think that one is more so. I mean, I'll be honest. I started laughing inwardly when they missed all the threes. It was kind of funny.
I mean, it was crazy.
It was kind of funny. I also did not want. I mean, look, I wanted the Rockets to win, but I also did not want James Harden to win. So I was in a tricky spot there.
Yep.
I was in a tricky spot. Like, I was like, I just can't stand this guy. Everything he stands for.
Also of the same ilk, Rockets trading for Charles Barkley and
Ooh.
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
I feel like we've mentioned that a lot.
that we've talked about that a lot, man.
Not good.
Kelvin Cato contract involved there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carol Dawson. He made some moves. Did they work?
Again, let's
I don't
stop
know.
drawing comparisons to the end of the dynasty Rockets and the current Houston Astros. Let's not keep pulling on that string of how similar it is.
Can I don't know if this is a stretch. Not getting Dream versus Jordan in the finals. Because that's like one of those like disappointing
Yeah,
like bummer sports thing. Like no LeBron versus Kobe in the NBA finals. but, like,
because for both of the Rockets championships, for whatever reason, a lot of people put asterisks by it because
I think
Jordan
it's
wasn't playing
crazy.
in both of those years. He didn't play in one of those years, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
also forgotten.
They lost. The Bulls lost by Nick Anderson, giant choker.
yeah, I wish I 'cause
Choked
I
against a
hate
choker.
I hate that narrative.
He choked against the Joker. You're right.
Um,
Nick Anderson in those finals. Oh boy,
especially because like a lot of people.
free throw line.
Nick
Think-
Anderson, literally never the same.
Yeah, he was not good. A lot of people from Chicago don't believe that. Don't believe the side of Jordan wins 8 straight.
Why not?
Because like they know they can look at box scores even if they're my age and they can see what Hakeem Olajuwon would do to the Bulls every single time they play.
You also look at you watch The Last Dance, and like that team was running on fumes.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 years, they were running on
Oh
fumes.
yeah,
Now
totally
you're
different team.
Now you're throwing in another 2 years, not just of making. Let's just pencil them in for the finals, which I think is fair. But then not just the extra games, but just like the extra having to be around each other.
Yeah.
that like actually getting a break from Michael Jordan might have done the Bulls a good thing for at least a couple years.
The best would have been if the Rockets would have got to a third straight. In,
Yeah, if they
in
would've
year
played in
one of having
96.
Dennis, Scotty, and Michael together. Like that would have been the best time for those teams to match up. Is when like Jordan had played a full season, so there's no garbage asterisk then. You have Dennis Rodman, who I'm convinced was acquired to deal with Shaq and Dream in some way.
Yeah.
To at least just try to annoy them.
I mean,
But-
yeah, it would have been nice.
Anything else?
Or if
stand
Michael
out?
Jordan didn't quit.
Yeah. Anything for you, Sean? Stand out for the Texans or the Rockets that we even got to?
No, those are the ones where it's like the acquisition that you coming into the season, you're like, the Texans got Ed Reed. They got
Yeah.
they got someone in the back. They have a quarterback now. They have their franchise quarterback with Deshaun Watson, and then I guess the Watson one's a little bit different because it took like 3-4 years for it to like fully, manifest. But like with Josh Hader, like by September, you're like, oh God, this Ed Reed thing is not gonna work out.
Yeah.
Can we just say the Letterman jackets? Just like, even if they lose the game in the fashion they did, if they just didn't wear them,
Yeah.
like it just
It puts a point on the like you are small time against the big time.
yeah.
If we're on
Just
fashion,
don't wear them.
how about after the Rockets won back-to-back titles, changing to the pajama uniforms, and then after
Yeah.
drafting a Chinese man, changing their logo and uniforms to look like melting communism?
I hate it when they would do the City Connect jerseys and they would just be Chinese jerseys.
Oh
See,
yeah.
but those
'cause,
were
like-
still better. The white
Those-
and red look
Yes, but
is,
they're City
And
Connect
the
jerseys.
red and gold ones are cool.
Yeah.
The red and gold Chinese ones are cool.
They are, but like they're supposed to represent your city, and
Yeah.
they didn't.
Shanghai.
Yeah, they're just for jersey
So
sales.
they literally changed their look to pander to the Chinese.
yeah, because like the Tigers,
Not even a
Yeah.
debate. Like, look at it.
it's
It
crazy.
looks like you can see the communism. It's just right there.
And that's communist talk on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Yeah.
World
At
events.
least-
with Paul
Let's talk
Gallant.
more China. in the
At
next
least
segment.
once a week. At least once a week.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
There should be a bingo card for.
I think ESPN 97.5 bingo would be a very fun thing to do.
You
So,
would,
like-
you old dad.
I know.
I
No,
like
no, it's like
bingo.
a giveaway. Like
Oh.
how it's like that's how we'll do our giveaways
Yeah,
for a week.
like just there's
Which
a,
we're gonna do a giveaway in the next.
there's
segment.
a Paul Gallant world events. There's Paul Gallant or current events.
Yeah, Joe
There's
walking
history.
like Joe walking back a take.
Walking back a take.
Lance and John coughing into the microphone without turning it off.
High school football story.
Yeah.
Jeremy and Joel yell at each other.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, we just,
When's the last time that happened?
so maybe we'll make that like the center one.
Jeremy like taking a Twitter troll to make it like making a segment out of a Twitter troll.
YouTube stream crashes.
Free
Like that.
space.
That could
That's
be
the
that.
free
Could,
space.
that's the free space.
Yeah.
And then
no,
whoever gets bingo first can win something. Maybe it's just a different way to do giveaways. We will give away something at the end of the next segment as well. But speaking of, you want tie us into China here?
Be
Ready?
my guest.
All right. Which primetime games are best suited to feature CJ Stroud in China next year? That's next on Gallant and George on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
You are back with Gallant and George
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Paul and Joe.
We need to do like an official because we've bounced around a lot. We've changed the number quite a bit. What about primetime games? And what are the most deserving of primetime games? Is there anything that stands out when you see their opponents for 2024? Like this